President Trump returned to the swing state of Michigan to tout his first 100 days in office, and he didn't hold back.
Tonight in the heartland of our nation to celebrate the most successful first 100 days of any administration in the history of our country, and that's according to many, many people. This is the best, they say, 100-day start of any president in history, and everyone is saying it. We've just gotten started. You haven't even seen anything yet. It's all just kicking in.
News out early Wednesday morning is that the U.S. economy has contracted in the first quarter of 2025, leading to yet another slump across the major indices on Wall Street, and further amplifying uncertainty about the effects the tariffs will have on domestic growth amid well-documented fears of a recession as consumer confidence plummets to lows last seen at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. And as trade negotiations around these tariffs continue, even as China signals there have been no talks with the United States to resolve their ongoing trade war, the U.S. Treasury Secretary argued this week that the onus was on China to remove the tariffs that he called unsustainable for Beijing. As the U.S. administration now seeks to reframe the policy it's currently driving.
Has been a little disconcerting for the markets is, President Trump creates what I would call strategic uncertainty in the negotiations. So he is more concerned about getting the best possible trade deals for the American people. We had 4 years of bad deals for decades of unfair trading, and we are going to unwind those and make them fair.
To the weak economic numbers and the falling stock market, President Trump took to social media calling it Biden's stock market, and that he didn't take over until January 20th. He said tariffs would start kicking in soon and that companies are starting to move into the USA in record numbers, that the country would boom as he appealed for patience. More here from his rally last night.
We're going to be very proud of this country very soon, and with my China tariffs, we're ending the greatest job theft in the history of the world. China's taken more jobs from us than any country has ever taken from another country. And that doesn't mean we're not going to get along. We'll get along with China. I mean, their tariff now is at 145%. So essentially, that's a big difference between that and zero. But I think it's going to work out. They want to make a deal, and we're going to make a deal, but it's going to be a fair deal. It's not going to be a deal that we lose $1 trillion a year like they did with Biden. That guy was so bad.
News emerged that e-commerce giant Amazon planned to display the impacts of tariffs on the pricing of certain goods on its website. This was how the White House responded.
A hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Put out this statement: the team that runs our ultra-low-cost Amazon Hall store considered the idea of listing import charges on certain products. This was never approved and is not going to happen. And across America's northern border, a Liberal victory in the federal election this week, seen in large part due to the Trump effect, which analysts argue hurt conservative prospects after being in pole position just 3 months ago.
Relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over. The system of open global trade anchored by the United States, a system that Canada has relied on since the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped deliver prosperity for a country for decades, is over. These are tragedies, but it's also our new reality.
President Trump casts tariffs as a way to punish countries he believes have been unfair to the United States. But economists argue that the cost is borne by U.S. importers, who inevitably pass on that additional trade tax to the consumer. Sherman Bryce, SABC News, New York.